Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another video. I apologise that it's been a while since the last one. It's been a very busy few weeks, as I said on AMTV Who, definitely not preparing and enjoying the most important event of the year, yes. But I'm back with another main channel video, and today we're going to be doing a tier list. Now, this tier list has actually been created. This was made by someone that I saw on my Discord server. Their username was J Cartwright. Don't actually think it's the same J Cartwright from The Inbetweeners, you know, just a little educated guess. But they decided to make a tier list of UK TV channels. Now, I think they've mainly gone with mostly Freeview-based stuff, obviously stuff that's accessible. They've obviously gone off their own EPG. They do state in the description that they have omitted things like HD channels, +1 channels, as they feel a bit redundant in a tier list. And I kind of agree to an extent as well, so they're not here. And it's everything that was in their EPG. So here is all of the channels, as you can see there, and the rankings as follows. So we've got S tier, A, B, C, D, waste of a slot, and never watched. So we're going to see where I put these channels personally. But before we get going, please do leave a like on this video and subscribe to us here on the AMTV network. Thank you very much for 30,000 subscribers. Let's push it forward. Let's keep getting even bigger. So first up here, it's in a random order. We've got 4-7. We actually did a video on 4-7 recently with some of their idents. Now, I must admit, I have dabbled with 4-7 a little bit, so it's not going to go in never watched. Would I call it a waste of a slot? No, I'm going to put it in D tier. Obviously, its main purpose is like for, you know, showing recent shows or archive programming, but I think there's better models out there across different channels and networks. The next one we've got is Action. I must admit, I've never watched Action, so that can go there. Quite a lot of these might end up in never watched, by the way, in terms of like the Freeview channels. 5 Select, have dabbled with. Again, is that a waste of a slot? It's going to go in D tier, I think. D tier for me. 5 Star. Now, 5 Star, again, like dabble, D or C. I think out of some of the 5 stuff, I'm going to put that in C tier. I'm going to be a bit more generous. 5 USA, I'm just putting that in waste of a slot. No offense to anyone who enjoys 5 USA, but I've just never gotten on board with a lot of the programming they show, so that's a no for me. BBC 2, right, we're on more familiar ground here. Should BBC 2 go in S tier? Do you know what? I'm going to put it in A tier. BBC 2 is a very strong channel, one I've enjoyed tremendously over the years, but I don't know, it's not, for me, it's not quite S tier, not just yet. BBC 3, if you would have asked me this in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, I would have been very tempted to put it in A or even S tier. In recent years, though, again, I totally acknowledge I'm moving out of that proposed, well, the initial demographic anyway. I suppose I still fall into it. But I'm going to put it, B or C. I never thought I'd be putting BBC 3 in either B or C tier, to be honest. I'm going to put it in, but I'm trying to think, you know, the legacy. I'm going to put it in B, because the legacy of it, like the first, say, 10-15 years of BBC 3, for me at least, so strong. BBC 4 is interesting because when I was younger, I sort of just brushed off BBC 4. I don't think I really understood the concept of it. As I've gotten older, I've started to love it. I love all the certain repeats they do, the various documentaries they have on there. So, you know what? Fair play to BBC 4. That's going to go in A tier as well. Again, something not quite S about it. Not sure what it is, but not quite S for me. Then we have BBC News. I'm not going to mince around here. This goes in S tier. I access BBC News every day, whether that's watching it on the telly, catching up on the iPlayer, accessing it via the app. I always like to stay up to date with my news. The BBC News, out of all of the news sources that I've engaged with, and I don't just engage with the BBC, I've engaged with quite a few of them over the years. It's the one that I find the most reputable, it's the one that I find the most informative, and it's the one I just find the most accessible. So yeah, BBC News is in S. BBC One, that's also going in S. I mean, it's hard not to put BBC One in S tier. I mean, obviously the legacy of BBC One, the historical impact, the programmes. Now, of all of the linear TV channels, so not including Freeview, but like out of the main terrestrial channels, it's definitely the one that I've sunk the most sort of time, energy, passion into, if you like. Then we have Blaze. I've never watched Blaze, so that's going there. We go from the S's right down to the come down there. Channel 4. Now, Channel 4 is, S or A. It's going to be one of the two. I'm probably going to get a lot of people shouting at me. Is it going to go in S? But Channel 4 has done such good work, man. No, it's going in A tier. again, there's so much good work on Channel 4. They've broken so much ground. They're very adept. They're very accessible. But there's just something holding back from that S for me. Hopefully we'll see some more S rankings. We've got regular old Channel 5. Again, if you'd asked me like 5-10 years ago, I probably would have put this in D. But I have engaged with Channel 5 a lot more recently. I think, again, like BBC4, their documentaries have been very interesting as of late, as well as some of their other programming. So Channel 5, I'm going to put it in... I'm going to put it in C tier for now. That could have well been a B, but it's going to go in C. Now we've got CBBC. Oh, man. This... Yeah, sod it. It's going in S tier. Just, you've got to understand, when I grew up with CBBC, late 90s through the 2000s, that was such a special time, like, to enjoy children's programs as a kid and growing up. Yes, I'm not in the demographic now. A lot of the shows I don't connect with. But again, I think CBBC has done a lot for kids' TV, so I'm going to give it the commendation there. Next, we have CBeebies. I did catch a bit of it as a kid. Where I have a brother who's a bit younger than me. I'm not going to say it's a waste of a slot. Certainly not. I'm going to put it in C tier, but again, you've got to keep in mind that's only because I was very much out that demographic, but I do recognize, again, how important and influential it's been for, like, preschool audiences. Challenge, man, the game... Oh, S. S tier. There was a period from, like, when would it have been, like 2012 to 2014, where I just watched Challenge. Like, I'd binge that channel, like all the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire repeats, all the other game shows, Takeshi's Castle, loads of stuff on there, and it's just great. If you love game shows as I do, then of course Challenge is going to be an S and like nowhere else. It has to be. CITV, I've made pretty clear over the years that I was never a CITV kid. I was always very firmly CBBC. So for that primary reason, it's not going to go in S, sadly. Oh, I'm going to put it in B tier. Again, I recognise a lot of its programs were really big. A lot of people enjoyed them. There was certainly broke ground in some respects. So yeah, I think B tier is enough in my opinion for CITV. Dave, obviously the home of witty banter. I'm going to put Dave in B or C. I'm going to put Dave in C tier. I have enjoyed Dave when I've watched it, but I never really engaged with it that often. And out of all the like repeat channels, it wasn't the highest on my list. Like Challenge, again, just captivated me so much with the game show aspect. So yeah, Dave's going in C tier for now. D-Max, no idea what that is. I've never watched it, so that's where it's going. Drama, I have engaged a little bit with drama. I'm going to put that in D tier. D for drama, how about that? Yeah, decent stuff, but again, not one that's necessarily high in my estimations. E4, I know so many people have a very strong affinity with E4 in its 20-year plus history. I must admit, I didn't engage with E4 all that much growing up, even like as a teenager or anything like that. So for that reason, it's going to go in C tier. I know a lot of you would shout at me for that. I think a lot of you think it needs to be B, A, or S, but C tier it is for me. E4 Extra, this has only been on the air. It's not even been on the air for a year, so it kind of feels hard to judge this one properly. And obviously, it's an extra aside for Channel 4. Is it a waste of a slot? Do you know what? It very well might be. But, no, I'm going to put it in there. Obviously 4 Music wound down, and I'm keeping it there for now. I might change that before the end of the video, but yeah, it's not impressed me greatly. Then we have Film 4. Channel 4. Film 4 has made some great films, by the way, like on their own, and obviously they showcase a lot of that. I'm going to put Film 4 in B tier. I like the fact they go for the more like avant-garde sort of different kind of stuff when it comes to film. I really appreciate that in media, so that's where that's going to go. Next up, we have Food. The Food Network. Nah. I just think when it comes to like cooking shows, I know people enjoy them, but when it comes to recipes and stuff, don't a lot of people just get it online now off the internet? I just don't see the need for a whole network around food, but that's just me, probably being very ignorant. Gems. What on earth is Gems? Let me have a look at that. Gems TV is a British reverse auction jewellery shopping channel, officially the first reverse auction in the UK, and was known as the first British TV channel to just sell gemstones. Yeah, you're telling me it literally just sells gems. When has this been on the air? 2004? This thing's been around for nearly 20 years? I have never, ever heard of this. This is mad. I can't believe that. Well, I've never watched it, but just to sell gemstones, waste of a slot. I'm just going to go out there and say it. Sorry, Gems. Great action. Now, this is the great ones, isn't it? Great action, great movies, great TV. Great action. Let's go bam, bam, bam. I'm going to put it in D tier. Great movies can go in C. Great TV. Yeah, I'm going to put that back in D. Again, I've dabbled even with these channels before. Movies, I think, is the best one. But none of them are particularly, ironically, great, in my opinion. Next up, we have HGTV. God, I'm outside of touch. I don't know what that is either. Let's have a look. HGTV. Home design, decorating, and remodeling ideas. A. How long has that been on the air for then? 1994 it was founded? Goodness me. All right, I'm very out of touch. I'm very aware with this. Well, I've never watched it. I'm not going to say it's a waste because I know like home remodeling stuff actually has some use on the TV, so I'll just keep it in never watched. Now we're on to the ITV network by the looks of it. ITV1. Ooh, obviously it's very historical, one of the oldest channels, but a lot of the content has never really clicked with me over the years, but again, recognizing legacy, I'm going to be generous and put it in B tier. In my heart of hearts, I think it's probably lower than that, but I've got to recognize the impact. ITV2, I've never really clicked, the home of Love Island and all such things. That's going to go in a waste of a slot. No, I'm joking. It's going to go in D tier. I just don't rate that one very highly. Sorry, ITV2 fans. ITV3, is that going for, I always forget with that one, is that going for more like old-fashioned drama and stuff? If it's the right one I'm thinking of, that's going to go in C, bit better than ITV2. ITV4, if I'm honest, I can't remember what's on it. I don't think I've ever really engaged with it either, so that's going to go in never watched if it wants to move there. ITVB, now is this the reality one? Is this the reality channel? Because if it is, that's a waste of a slot. Sorry, I've just never been a fan of reality TV, and I make no apologies for it. Then we have Legend, which I believe used to be the horror channel, and they showed some good stuff, man, back in the day, and hopefully they still do. But yeah, I did used to enjoy that. That's gonna go in C tier. I enjoyed it. It was never quite higher than C, but yeah, decent stuff. More for. I've never really engaged with More 4. I'm going to be honest, so I'm going to go in never watched. Nice idents, though, in some cases. Then we have Pick. Again, I've never really got into Pick. That's going there. Pop. Oh, Pop's S tier, man. Absolute S tier. Again, Pop I first experienced when I was abroad, because back in the day, we didn't have like a Sky package or anything like that. So a lot of those channels at that time that were like Sky only, I could only access were on holiday. And Pop showed some great reruns of classic shows, man. So yeah, Pop is S tier for me. And again, we've done an ident review on their idents, so you can check that out as well too if you wish. Pop Max, I've got no idea what that is. So that's never watched for me, sadly. Quest, I've dabbled a bit of Quest when I was doing the ident review 100, but it's not going to go high. It's going to go in D. Quest Red, don't know what that is. Reality Extra. If that is just about reality TV, my bias is going again, but we're going to put that in waste of a slot. Sorry. Then we have Really, and I just can't remember what is on Really. That's never watched. There's a lot of never watched here, isn't there? Sky Arts. Oh, Sky Arts, man. That's going in A tier. Obviously, I'm an actor myself, but Sky Arts is just such a wonderful channel. Lots of great programming there. And it's great that it's on Freeview now as well, or like really accessible. So big up Sky Arts. Sky News, I don't really engage with Sky News as a viewer, so that is going to go in D tier for me, personally. And then we have, That's TV? Again, I've not really engaged with that one, so that's going to go there. Is that Tiny Pop? Never really, I was a bit too old for Tiny Pop at the time. Not a waste of a slot. Again, caught it a little bit. I guess that's going in D tier. And then we have, is that TJC? What on earth is TJC? Oh, it's a shopping channel. Shopping channels still exist. Waste of a slot. I've never been a fan of shopping channels. Never. Then we have W, or is that the one that used to be Watch? Nah, it can go in D tier. And last but not least, we have Yesterday, which, as its name implies, shows older programming. I don't mind a bit of Yesterday, you know. That's going to go in C tier. So, look at that. That is my final tier list based on what one of my viewers made. I'll put the link to the tier list in the description of this video if you'd like to do it yourself, but let's just go with a rundown. So who's tippity top? We've got BBC News, BBC One, CBBC, Challenge and Pop. Obviously a lot of BBC stuff there. I was very much a BBC child growing up. BBC One, just arguably the most iconic channel in British TV history, certainly the oldest. We have CBBC, a crucial part of my growing up as a kid, that programming. BBC News, again, as I said, arguably the most informative, accessible, form of news on television at the moment. Challenge, just I've got a penchant for game shows. I know some of you will put this further down, way down, but I love game shows. I love the repeats. I love all that sort of stuff, so that's why it's up there. And again, Pop, it was just that different kind of older programming for kids, you know, stuff made in the 80s, 90s, all that sort of stuff. I remember I used to love watching like Super Mario, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Underground, loads of shows like that. In the A tier, again, you've got BBC Two and BBC Four, and as I say, that I do love those channels, and Channel 4 as well. Why do I want to move any of those? No, they're all going to stay in A tier. There's something that's keeping me from putting them in S. Sky Arts as well, brilliant channel in that respect, brilliant arts channel. That's why that's there. Am I going to change anything in B tier? See, BBC Three, I feel like I've done a bit harshly there. I think maybe I should bump that up to A, but just recently, I think it's not what it once was for me. So no, I'm going to keep it in B, as with all the rest. And then CD, again, this is stuff I've either dabbled with very briefly or stuff that has gone up in my estimations, like regular Channel 5, for example, or stuff that is a bit, you know, I've dabbled with, not really been that into, a lot of the stuff in the D tier, for example. I'm so tempted to put ITV2 in waste of a slot, but I know I'd just be doing that out of spite. Have I done E4 Extra a bit harshly? I haven't really engaged. When I have engaged with it, it's not really enthralled me. It might change in the future, but certainly now that's where it's staying. I mean, but things like gems, selling gemstones, are you kidding me? That's a waste of a slot on the EPG, I'm telling you right now. And then a lot of these I've never watched. You know, I'll hold my hands up, like Action, Blaze, D-Max, HGTV, even ITV4, you know, some of the bigger ones. I need to get more in touch with Freeview, I think. But that is my personal tier list. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me on a lot of these? Again, shout out to the viewer. I know your name's not Jay Cartwright for real. But shout out to Jay for putting this in my Discord server. And again, I'll leave the link to the tier list in the description of this video if you'd like to make one for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. And do subscribe to us here at AMTV. We would love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martyn here from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Hux Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, Globe of Reviews, Derek Chambers, Sean Knock, Dord Khan, Traffy, and Liam Domain, our AMTV staff members.